Hello and welcome to PC24 RETV's live broadcast. We are sorry that we are a bit off our time by about 10 minutes. Some technicalities prevented us from doing our stuff right and out. But we still thank you if you are watching this program, and don't forget we have a contest going on where we asked a question and we wanted someone to give a wittiest, funniest and the most creative answer. And the question was, what is the easiest to pick? What is the easiest to pick? And we will select the winner this 30th September between the broadcast 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. So as our weekly guest, Mr. Amrit Sura has already signed into the program. He will talk about housing market from Abbotsford, BC and the surrounding areas. If you need to get a hold of him, his phone number to call is 1-778-999-1531 778 999 1531 ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕਾਲ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਹੈਲਪ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ, ਬਾਈ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ, ਸੈਲ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ, ਲੀਜ਼ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ, ਇਨਵੈਸਟ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ, ਮਿਸਟਰ ਬਾਬ ਆਲਵੇਜ਼ ਰੀਚ ਆਊਟ ਟੂ ਹਿਮ। ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੁਝ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਫੋਰ ਸੇਲ ਬਾਈ ਓਨਰ ਬਾਰੇ। ਵੈਸੇ ਕੋਈ ਟਾਈਮ ਚੰਗਾ ਨਹੀਂਗਾ ਫੋਰ ਸੇਲ ਬਾਈ ਓਨਰ ਦਾ, ਪਰ देयर ਆਰ ਸਮ ਐਡਵੈਂਚਰਿਸਟ who do not stop from doing those things. Well, you will hear an interactive conversation between me and our guest Amrit Sura.
There was a reason for
time permitting. We will also like to talk about the rent to own program. You know, the Liberal government promised that once they get re-elected, recommended push a rent to own program to help people find affordable housing. Where we are now.
Okay, then you are my guy.
We'll try to touch something about this topic.
So I will send you a form.
But like every day when we start our broadcast, we like to congratulate, send our best wishes to you if you are celebrating your birthday, your anniversary, or a newborn came into your family,
in the committee meetings.
or you purchased your home and did the closing and realized your dreams. Well, congratulations to you from PC24, RETV, Paul Chima, and our guests and our sponsors. Every day we come up with a quote. We try to bring something for everyone. The quote that I brought today is from a woman. Her name was Phyllis Diller, or Phyllis Edo Diller. Her maiden name was Driver. July 17, 1917 to August 20, 2012, she lived on this planet, passed away at the age of 95. She was an American stand-up comedian, actress, author, musician, and visual artist. She was best known for her eccentric stage persona, self-deprecating humor, wild hair and clothes, and exaggerated cackling laugh. Isn't that what we're talking these days? Laugh.
Okay, and don't forget to come to my show.
That I'm sharing for the past few days focused on laugh to make you happy. And here is what Phyllis Diller told us. She said, a smile is a curve.
You are the most
that sets everything straight. A smile is a curve that sets everything straight.
There you go, man.
And trust me, this is very true. You must have experienced it. You want something from the air hostess when you're flying, bring a smile on your face and ask nicely. You will get more than what you wanted. Something is stuck in an office, give a smile to the person, cheer them up, your work will be done. Well, even though they may have to do some adjustment. There are countless examples. We all have experience.
And hey, brother,
you may acknowledge them, you may not acknowledge them. You may say that was my right.
Wait for you to say okay to my program and come back.
A small smile on your face can brighten someone else's day. So that's the quote Phyllis Diller left us. A smile is a curve that sets everything straight. I hope you keep in mind. And let's welcome our guest, Mr. Amrit Sura, up on stage. Good morning, sir. It's early good morning for you, actually.
Yes, we start early over here. So, thank you so much for having me again. I appreciate it. Obviously, lots of things going on. Interesting topic about the FSBOs you're talking, for sales by owners. Obviously, that's always a bit of a sticky situation depending on where you're looking at it from. Lots of things still happening here. What I'm really seeing is that there might be a little bit more confidence in the new builds. You know, people are sort of taking their opportunity, securing a property, and then anticipating closing later on, and hopefully by then there'll be some kind of reasonable outcome from all these interest rate hikes, right? So once we have a good, consistent decline in the inflation, we'll certainly see some more activity for home purchasers who are transitioning for the first time or looking to buy something else. So interesting times for sure. Yes, there's been a decline in the number of sales. It's just because of consumer confidence, right? They're continuously bombarded with media, and they have no other way of gauging anything unless they reach out to a professional. Now, a lot of times, what happens is when you're doing your routine sales calls, people sort of may act one of two ways. They may be receptive to your conversation, or they might have their backs up and then end up, kind of disengaging the conversation and saying, "Well, we're not in the market," or "We're going to see what happens in the future." So,
Yeah.
The part of the business I understand here, especially, you're going to find that there's going to be a real need for patience, right?
Yes, real need for patience. That's where we are. People are trying to take advantage of the situation. Many buyers are. Some investors are getting good deals these days. But a user buyer is kind of stuck in the market, and so is a genuine seller. So things are not looking that rosy anymore. We are still expecting market to tumble down a bit more, like Humpty Dumpty. Same thing. So we are going to see that a lot. But new builds is an interesting topic. So what do you think, Amrit? Are those new builds being priced reasonably, or they're still on the higher side?
So there's definitely, what we got to gauge is the reality of actual costs, right? So when we say reasonably, here's the consideration. What technologies are being used in order to facilitate a new build? Are they going over and above with different kind of products that they're using within the new build? What benefits come with the new development? I think they're priced appropriately, and the incentives that the sellers, the vendor is giving is at the present time they're giving away more than they normally would, right? So yes, there's a great benefit for a developer who's acquired the property 20 years ago and then now it's in development stage. His costs for the construction in the last year, because the BC building code has changed, they have increased by 30%. Okay, so is it priced appropriately was your question. I think at the end of the day, they make it a reasonably affordable situation. High density, maybe they're smaller units. However, there's different components within specific developments which make them a unique build. I mean, there was the pre-sales that we sold early last year, you know, they went with the conventional system of having hardy plank. Now, how does hardy plank benefit the end user? Over time, hardy plank doesn't need as much maintenance as a wood cladding or a vinyl cladding in order for maintenance. So at the end of the day, what components are thought about and used for the purposes of that construction will really make a benefit for the consumer. So at the present time, I think the people who are, or the developers that are doing their pre-sales, are cognizant of the fact that there has been a market shift, and how are they going to move the product? Yes, their cost might have been
you always put
$40,000 to $50,000 a door, but it's costing them,
I know.
as opposed to
I do a lot of
$200,000 a door. It's costing them $300,000 a door to actually make that unit a habitable space for a residence, right? So,
well, market there's a lot of inventory in Brampton.
I think they consider it quite quite well based on what other impacts are coming on. Because again, did they buy all their material 20 years ago? No, they didn't. So that all kind of plays part in it. So they are priced accordingly, I think.
$1 million home, which was great. Very nice. Yes, and we sold in this. Well, the government promised that, like when they were running for election, and he was saying they promised the world, or the Canadian at least, that once they are re-elected, they will try to make housing available for everyone. Things and the term they came up with was rent to own. They will go down. The rent to own was being run. The rates are by many corporations, private companies, investors across Canada. So many companies that are doing rent to own program. But when Government of Canada started something on similar pattern, but their mandate when they were running for election was, this was their promise, that a re-elected Liberal government will introduce a rent-to-own program to help make it easier for renters to get on the path towards home ownership while renting. And they said the program will have 3 major principles on it. One is landlord must commit to charging a renter a lower than market rate to help them build up savings for a down payment. B, the landlord must commit to ownership in a 5-year term or less, and then proper safeguards to be in place to protect the future homeowner, which is rent to owner. And then they were also thinking about creating a stream for current renters and landlords, particularly those in condo settings, to immediately enter into rent to own program. And then they also committed that they will give $1 billion in loans and grants to develop and scale up the rent to own projects with private, not-for-profit and co-op partners. So basically the program was designed to give incentives to builders, that the builders could then pass those incentives on to tenant owners. Let's call them tenant owners, because they will rent for a while and then they will own that property. Up to 5-year time period window has been provided. Some can move in within 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever. So this, they say, will help overcome the issue of having enough down payment to buy a house in the future. Have you heard of this program?
Well, there's all sorts of programs. I think, at the end of the day, the government is just giving some different copycat solutions where they're going to try and implement some lip service to the public and communities to try and give them some confidence. However, the reality is they need to spend the $1 billion that they are trying to spend and encourage people to really hone in on their financial knowledge. Forget about putting these systems in place that it's still a risk, because at the end of the day, what if that owner, rent owner or tenant owner is in the square one situation that he was before? How is the government going to go in there and sort out that mess? So the government should really stay out of the business of putting in procedures like that, and they may want to try and open up more land areas which could be developed, and leave that to the developers, and at the end of the day, the actual specialists within the marketplace, in order to make things affordable. If you want to make things affordable, you need to build more of them. And how are you going to build more of them? You need land. So they're basically skirting around the actual issue, where there's vast amount of land available, which is tied up in the Agricultural Land Commission.
And they talked about a project which I don't think haven't studied well. So many experts, they say that this is an uncharted territory, could have lots of pitfalls. UK has been doing it for a long time. There are some houses in UK where the rent-to-own thing is going on. And there is this woman, I will go to this particular text that I'm looking on my computer. The housing advocates say rent-to-own programs have been operating in pockets of UK with some success. But as is the case in big Canadian cities, properties in the UK are so expensive that it's proven difficult to bridge the gap between low wages and home ownership. And there has not been huge uptake. So Paula Higgins is a chief executive of the Homeowners Alliance in London. And she said, building safety codes there are weak. And there were some issues with rent-to-own funding being tied to new developments. Some of these units built for renters were of low quality, as developers cut costs but still collected subsidies. So this is a big loophole here. So builder code, who actually created the builder code? Who created this terrain? Builders. So builders created this terrain, builders are determining what they're going to do, and then government gives them huge funding, incentives to build housing for sale under rent-to-own program. The builders are greedier and they will cut on every dime and try to give a house that confines the basic requirements of the building codes, but still will leave lots of loopholes in there. So I think this is going to be repeated in Canada as well.
Well, it really depends on who gets involved. I mean, if the government is going to say, okay, we've got billions of dollars, well, there's going to be people lining up left and right in order to be able to grab some of that $1 billion, right? And how they're going to minimize on their costs to provide, rent-to-own scenarios. It's going to be a scenario where you have lower quality builds, but at extortionate prices. So,
absolutely.
And who wins?
Why builders? There are so many resale homes in Canada. Can the government not enter into contracts? Like, can it not invest itself into those houses and transfer ownership 3, 4, 5 years down the lane? If you are an investor, Amrit, and I reach out to you to help me with the rent-to-own program, you're going to ask me for a down payment upfront, because that's what shows my intent that I'm serious about this program, that I will actually end up buying this house 2, 3, 4, 5 years later, whatever the agreed term is. So the companies outside that were operating for a long time, this is their model. You pay some down payment up front. Many companies charge 5% down payment. If they are buying a house for, let's say, $700,000, Amrit may say, okay, you need to pay me $35,000. Remainder will be added or paid by Amrit, and the rest will be financed through some financial institution. This is the usual arrangement. And then the investor will create a payment plan for the tenant owner. That okay, this money is going towards your living expenses. You cannot recover it, but you can add $500, $1,000, $2,000 on top of what you're paying. So that additional money will be added toward your down payment. If you pay, let's say, $1,000 every month on top of your rent, and 2 years the term, so you have paid $24,000 in additional money, and you also paid 5% down in the beginning. So all this money you will get back, but not your living expenses. So I don't know where I was reading that someone says, oh, well, they can get to keep the money as their down payment. Rental is not a down payment. Rental is a cost because someone else is paying mortgage of that property. So I don't know why people don't have the right information, and why government does not encourage other people to help them buy houses rather than pay incentives to builders or developers. So they keep major chunk and provide low quality housing to people who are too keen to get into this rent-own and become homeowners.
Yeah, I mean, I think they have, yes, they have a dream, but then how is that going to be facilitated, right? I mean, if you look at what you just, the scenario of 700,000 is the property, 5%, that's 35,000 they want up front, and then the remainder of the 20% down payment required at year 5, over that period, you want an additional $1,600 a month in order to make up the down payment. So again, I think the government's getting a little bit ahead of themselves and involving themselves in situations which really does not make sense. Is it the right answer that I have? I don't think so. I think what people need to really do is take they need to take a good look at their financial situation, and if it's not now, then it might be 5 years from now. But having incentives and programs such as that, it's only going to help the banks, and it's only going to help the government, again, because government is benefiting on each transaction for the purchase taxes, and then the banks on the interest. So the idea of educating the consumer has been thrown out of the window.
Well, this is interesting, Amrit. I'm looking at a news item, and it says in 2018 there is a group in BC, the developer group called Panach Group, PANATCH. That was back in 2018, and they offered rent-own units in Port Moody. I don't know where Port Moody is, but maybe you know it better.
Yes.
And they said 500 people applied. So developer Kush Panach of Richmond, BC said he had never offered rent-own before and was shocked by fervent interest. People applied frantically. And he ended up only inviting Port Moody applicants in a sort of a lottery. After reviewing their essays, including one from someone who said, I want to stay in the community he loved. So he actually made people write why you want to live here. It was like grade 10 English exam. So, and then he said, we learned by experience, there were so many pitfalls later on that they discovered, and unforeseen cost, like the fact that his company had to carry the cost of GST because it's a corporation, payments were subject to GST, and when they rented it, they had to pay GST, so that cut into their profit. And there were complex legalities to navigate. Rising interest rates also made the program more expensive. So I don't think they did that again. So if federal government is giving assistance, why don't they give to me so I can buy something for someone, maybe offer me less rate of interest when I buy for someone else. They say, okay, your interest rate is this much. And they can ask me to give an affidavit saying, I'm buying for a rent-to-own buyer. But then they will say everyone will be a rent-to-own buyer. It's quite complicated, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on what angle you look at. I mean, there's certainly different loopholes there for sure.
There are many loopholes.
People think of the GST. I mean, did they discount the GST amount? No.
They didn't think about GST when they gave a rent. But when they collected rent, being a corporation, they had to pay GST on that.
So there you go. I mean, did it help anything on that side? I'm not sure with the Panach Group.
Stay with us. We will soon come with a short break. Where is my break? Are you looking for a reliable legal office that can handle your closing in the most effective manner? If yes, please get in touch with Rakesh Joshi at 416-213-8600. Joshi Law Office provides all the legal advices about real estate law, business law, immigration laws, notarization and affidavits, wills and trust. Give them a call today, 416-213-8600. Are you looking for reliable immigration services? If yes, contact Sukhi Paul at 647-296-4575 or office phone number 905-790-8877. They are located at 219-220 at 7956 Torban Road. It's right at the intersection of Torban Road and Steeles Avenue West. Contact them for all kind of visa services. Finding an honest and diligent insurance and investment advisor is a rarity these days. If you are looking for great advice, contact Mr. Bhupendra Mane, who is the Regional Director of Cosmos Financial Center. They are located at Unit number 830 Top Flight Drive, Mississauga. The phone number to call is 647-448-6229. Give them a call today. Is your business suffering from performance? If yes, it is the right time to call Ravinder Duggi at 416-807-7986. She will find out the weak points and the points where the performance issues are paramount and help you fix those issues. Give her a call today. Do not be late. Are you looking to buy or sell your home or any commercial real estate? If yes, call me today at 647-333-2273 or 647-328-3279. I provide services in real estate and mortgages. I am mortgage broker with Akal Mortgages Inc., where when we say yes, we stand behind our promise. Reach out to me today. Do you want to shop right without burning your pockets? If yes, Please visit Monisha Discount Warehouse at 377 Burnhamthorpe Road, East Mississauga, Ontario. They are the best. They have all kind of Indian, Pakistani and other local stuff that you can buy at literally throwaway prices. Contact them at 905-361-0773. Monisha Discount Warehouse. D.P. Jain is a well-known name in the fields of accounting. You can contact him today at his cell number 416-305-0080 or his office number 905-790-9327. Once you start working with him, you will never want to leave him. He is 5-star professional. Call him today. D.P. Jain Professional Corporation. PC24 RE TV is heard over so many different channels. If you want to promote your business for free, call me at 647-333-2273. You can also send your artwork to contact@paulchima.com. We are here to be partners in your business success. 647-333-2273.
Welcome back to PC24 RE TV's program for today, which is Wednesday and 28th of September. 30th September will be an Orange Shirt Day. Orange Shirt Day is observed to respect the rights of indigenous people. If you have not bought your orange shirt yet, well, it's time that you can go. I found many orange shirts in a store, what's called Michael's. So if you go to Michael's store, if you're in Mississauga or Peel region, I think Michael had a lot of inventory and they were about $4. So go get them and show your solidarity with the indigenous people. And you can also read a lot about their struggle and the challenges they faced. You can search Orange Shirt Day. I think it's orangeshirtday.org, where they talk about a Phyllis story. And she's an older woman now, but her story is heart-rending. You must go check it out. So we're talking with our guest, Amrit Sura, talking real estate. Welcome back, Mr. Sura. So that's all about our rent-to-own thing. But if people are interested in rent-to-own, the companies, they charge a down payment up front, sign up 2 contracts. One is a lease contract, one is option to buy contract. And then they determine your lease payments and also option credits or rental credits. Call it by any name. Those monies are on top of your monthly lease. So when you transfer your house after a set or determined period, then you are paid back the 5% or whatever down payment you paid in the beginning plus accumulated amount of additional rental credits. But if you don't close, all those monies are forfeited. You may be asked to get independent legal advice or representation from a solicitor of your choice before you jump into this program. It's a legally binding document. You cannot run out of it. But the benefit of this program is you can accumulate money for your down payment and then you can enjoy the home ownership. Similar houses may be 50, 60, 70,000 higher than what you are paying at that time, and that's the beauty of this program. And the second best thing is the value of the house that you're going to buy in future gets logged in. Nobody can change that value. So anyways, Amrit, do you see many people selling houses by themselves?
There are a number of people, but like if you look at Abbotsford, though, they're few and far between, because sometimes they'll try it, they'll get 10,000 calls from local agents, and then they'll end up listing it. They'll end up listing it with a realtor in the future, right? So it really depends. I mean, sometimes the for sale by owner might just say, okay, I'm on a prime piece of land. I can do this exclusively myself. They don't mind paying the buyer side commission. They save themselves a little bit, but then what they don't save themselves is the headaches that maybe that they underpriced or overpriced. I had a scenario where somebody they'd called in as a potential buyer for one of my colleagues' listings, and I said, okay, that's fine. I mean, we can arrange an appointment. And then he says to me, well, I know so many realtors, I just don't want to waste their time. So I thought, because you're local, I can waste your time. So that's fine. I said, that's okay. Anyway, cut the long story short, figured out that his home was in the same area as my colleague, and he was trying to sell his home. And then recently I did a search, and it's been on the market for 400 days now.
Wow.
So,
and now it's a listed property.
No.
It's still by FISBO.
Yeah, he's a mere listing.
Oh.
So you pay a certain amount, and then it lists for...
Oh, I see. So they actually... they are called mere listings, and they post it in the MLS system, and they charge an upfront fee, $100, $2,000 or $2,000, any amount of money, and then they are not responsible at all. It's kind of like providing the customer service.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they bank on the fact that some buyer will call their office and they will write the offer.
Yeah.
That's the innovative, because there were some websites where they were posting listings, but then those websites became brokerages, so people cannot solicit their listings anymore. Initially, when they were just websites, anyone could knock at the doors and say, hey, you can list with us, we are a full brokerage. But those companies changed into broker model. Later on, it became difficult contacting them. So all they do is provide some signs, provide some directional signs, help them with pictures, and take a hefty amount of money, zero accountability.
So it's a different business model. And I think, most sellers, they are selling one house, whereas if you're working with a local realtor, they might be selling half a dozen to, a dozen houses at any given time. So, and through your contacts in the industry, you might be able to move it a little bit quicker. So it really depends on the property.
So much has been posted online, on internet. If you go TikTok videos, you will see people saying, hey, you make tons of money on this sale, why should we work with you, and all that. Little do they understand the fact that, like any other business, we are a business. If they go to Walmart to buy a piece of clothing, well, they can also sew that clothing at home too. Why go to Walmart? Take some clothing and try to stitch a nice suit for yourself. But they don't
do that.
Do that. So do your own haircut. You still go to barber. It's so simple. You just have to cut your hair. Mm-hmm. You do your own tattoos. Why do you go to tattoo artist and pay $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 for that one? Right? So, but when it comes to realtors, they think realtors are making money like out of proportion, and they're exploiting, they're doing this and that. I challenge all of those people who criticize agents' commission to take the license and then try to run their business. After 3 years or 2 years, I will talk to them.
So, yeah, I think some people think about it in the perception of your reward from the marketplace is directly related to how many people you impact.
Yep.
So if you think one transaction only helps one party, you're mistaken. So one transaction will impact multiple people. It'll impact the mortgage specialist, the home inspector, insurance agent, lawyers. So that's 4 groups of people. Each one of these people have a corporation or they have families. So when you relate the amount of numbers, it multiplies just one transaction. That is the reason why the fees or the fee structures are appropriately coordinated, right?
Yeah.
So when you look at it that way, you can understand, all right, well, why does $1 million sale cost $50,000? Well,
Yeah.
you've got a staging element of it, right?
Yep.
You've got the home cleaning service.
Yep.
You've got the box package.
Yep.
So there's numerous amount of things which really impact community. Now, who changes how the landscape of the city is? It's people who are thinking about the future. If you think little old you is going to just live on a farm with a white picket fence and nothing's going to change, well, you're sadly mistaken, because there's so many people lining up to still come to Canada. Not only Canada, I mean, talk about other countries as well. There's people migrating all over the world. So with the increase in the population worldwide, there's going to be a requirement for ways to implement housing strategies. How do you do that? Well, you've got to think outside the box. Biggest thinking outside the box is land assembly, or buy a big parcel of land which requires infrastructure. So at the end of the day, your income is directly related to the number of people you are willing to sacrifice and impact their lives for their benefit. So forget about the number. Just think about how many people you're going to change lives.
Absolutely, and that is so true. It's not only the commission, it's the accountability, it's doing the best, because unless you are in a negotiation business, negotiating the price of your property is not an easy thing. A slight slip can lose you thousands and tens of thousands of dollars. This is how we are trained to work for you. But if you want to still sell by yourself, nobody can stop you from doing that. Save your commission. Work for it. Agents don't get paid for nothing. They actually do a lot of work and earn their commission. They earn. If you look at an agent's gross income over the whole year and then try to divide by number of hours, you will see some agents are actually below your pay rate.
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
Most of agents end up doing 2 or 3 transactions, earning a commission of $45,000-$60,000, and that could be a salary of a technician in a job, getting $22-$25 an hour, working 40 hours. But guess what? You have a weekend to enjoy. We don't have weekends to enjoy. We can never say, oh, TGIF, because we don't have TGIF. We have always work going on.
Do you do?
They should
Do you
change-
do the
they should
thank God
change
it's
that.
Friday post?
No, so they should change that, right? They should change that phrase, TGIAD,
What is that?
right? Thank God it's another day.
Yeah. Okay.
So we get to
Right.
enjoy another day.
Well, people, when they come back from work on Fridays, they are jubilant, they're happy, they're dancing, they're thinking barbecue, having dinner someplace, inviting families and guests. And guess what? We can't even think about that. We have to plan weeks and weeks before. And then second thing is, we can't even go on vacation, the real vacation. Many are still working on vacation, on their laptops, on their cell phones, taking calls. And if we ever go back to our native countries, our mind is still here because we work everywhere we can or we lose money. After all, everyone has to bring bread and butter on their dining table. But if you are still committed, make sure you have very nice pictures taken of your property. Make sure you have someone do 360-degree tour of your house so people can watch it before they actually come down to your house. Floor plan is very critical for selling a house these days. When people come, then when they come after seeing the floor plan, you know they are highly committed buyers. So it helps reduce the number of showing, give you more time to enjoy with your family, rather than having a stream of people in and out throughout the day and not letting you take a nap. That doesn't mean anything. So in order to have only qualified buyers, you need to start thinking right. And then take the photos, post them somewhere nicely. Do not use your iPhone 14 or 16 or 30. It doesn't make any difference. Those pictures are never good pictures for marketing purposes. Hire someone to do the picture. And then start thinking from the street toward your house, even your neighbor. If you have a grumpy neighbor who doesn't cut his lawn, maybe hire someone or cut his own lawn yourself. Do him a favor. Because your neighbor's look of their house is going to affect the price you are going to get. Try to make sure not only your house, but your neighbor's house also looks nicer. Make a curb appeal and show a lot of space. You may have huge sofas with huge bags and maybe 3 feet sitting chairs. Try to find something similar, smaller, that can free up some space. And if you cannot hire a stager, well, go online, try to find how to stage your property. And staging material is extremely expensive, very expensive. So Amrit, I am staging one of my own listings. My stager was sick. We put it property back on sale after it didn't close, and she was very sick. I wanted to do something right away, so I went shopping. Those $5, $8, $10, $20, $24, those little flowers, the potted artificial plants.
Yes.
Guess what? When it came out of the I think it was Home Sense, when it came out, my bill was $1,300. And I said, what did I buy? But all that money went into something totally I cannot even see in the house. But this is the fact. Things are very expensive, so you need to make sure that it stays well. Spend some money if you want to save $20,000-$30,000. At least spend $5,000 yourself.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think it'll go a long way for sure, right? So
yeah, and there is no guarantee that you will get their money back. That's the thing, right? So when I put $2,000 again after my initial $6,000 into the house, so I'm $8,000 into this property. Because when we staged before, it cost me $6,000. But when he added some more stuff, it cost me another $2,000.
and this is at $8,000, and if it doesn't sell, or the sellers change their mind to work with me, my money is wasted. You have to take the same risk. This is how it works. It's not fun every time you sell a house. So you don't know the dynamics of real estate. We know it. Try to be reasonable. Try to respect realtors. They really do a lot of things you don't even encompass in your life. You cannot even do that. I keep challenging homeowners that if they want to negotiate, practice their skill of negotiation, they can start doing it with me anytime. Or I can give them a guy who is very good negotiator. Oh my God, he can give you sleepless nights.
Yeah.
We don't see many FISBOs these days because it's very challenging. But at the same time, people are also thinking, instead of paying commission to the realtors, if they do it on their own, they may save 5%, 4%, 3%. But is it worth the amount of effort? You have work to do, you have a job to take care of, you have kids to take care of, you have a wife to take care of. There are so many stuff you need to undertake. And then showing, when agents show houses, they show houses to qualified buyers. But when someone comes knocking at your door at 8 o'clock in the evening and you are having your dinner, you don't even know who is walking in. Is he a good element or is he a bad element? How do we differentiate? Realtors meet people before they bring people at your house, so we know who we're talking. We have their IDs, we have their information. We know they're serious buyers or they're just wasting your time and my time. We filter them out. And like Amrit said, you will get 10,000 plus calls from realtors when you do for sale by owner. And you're still going to end up paying them their commission. Does it make sense? To save a little, how much will you save? 1%, 2.5%, 3%? For a house,
a small amount.
$1 million, 30 grand?
Yeah.
For $10,000 the least. But what if someone comes into your house as a buyer and then robs you and causes damage to your family and persona that is way more expensive than those $30,000? What is important for you? Safety of your family or just the money? So I would say trust the organized real estate. We are actually highly organized than your employer.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah, you want to put safety at the forefront, right? So
yeah. We take care of your listing. We take care of your house. We are responsible for if anything goes wrong during the listing period. We are accountable for that.
Mm-hmm.
So people have stolen stuff, Amrit, during open houses. Despite repeated suggestions by realtors, please do not leave anything of value inside the property. Can you handle that? You don't even know how to show a property, but you want to save money. When you go to dentist and dentist say, oh, crowns will cost $2,000 per tooth. Do you tell him that no, I will go and do it myself?
Yeah, that's going to be a bit of a problem.
It's a lot of money, $2,000, one tooth, one crown. Oh my goodness. So I better put aluminum foil all around my teeth and maybe glue it. It can go for a few days. Just do it. Do your own haircut. Do your own tat. And come back to me. Anyways, people are people, but we respect whatever they do. Do we have any other option, Amrit, except saying, yeah, you are good?
No, I think they should just make the best decision for themselves and their family, right? So,
absolutely.
And if they require assistance, they can reach out to their local realtors and make other decisions. I think some people just get frustrated after it's been on the market for a while.
Well, then it's the market to be blamed. We are looking for a qualified buyer. If they don't come, they don't come. You can only do as much. You can show the property in a very good light. You can create a great curb appeal. You can market it extremely well. But then sellers and realtors, they have to team up. On the other side, the buyer and their realtors have to team up. So these two teams then team up and make an offer. So I will tell you something interesting. I got an offer on the property that didn't close. That's been going on for 3 days. And I can tell you, the person who brought me an offer has some challenges. I don't know if he's a new realtor or who he is, but I see him that he needs a lot of training. I didn't get angry at him. I didn't get mad at him. I just called him and said that if you don't know how to use the signing software, call me and I will help me out and make him send me the right offer. I wasn't upset. I wasn't saying, hey, it's your job, not my job to tell you. I say, I'm ready to cooperate. Call me if you get into any problem with this software. Mm-hmm. And I actually taught him how to strike out, how to add a new number, how to put signature fields. He missed initials on so many pages. I still patiently asked him to do those initials, because if I get angry or upset with him, I can prove that I'm a better agent than him, but will it help anyone? It won't help the buyer, it won't help him, it won't help me, it won't help the sellers. It's simple. Try to help each other. That's what we do. We stand up as a community and we try to find solutions rather than create problems. Well, this is where we are. It's 11:36 a.m. Time to say goodbye. Amrit, you have any final words to say for this broadcast?
Just to, an encouraging day forward for everyone that's out there and doing their day-to-day routines. Just stay positive and stay on the right path.
I like the way you said day 4. This is how my wife talks, because in school they have day 4, day 5, day 6.
Right. Yeah.
So Amrit, I did ask a question. Let me ask you that before we end up. What is the easiest to pick?
What do you mean?
Well, I'm just asking a question. What is the easiest to pick?
The easiest to pick?
Yeah.
What are you picking? Apples?
Well, I don't know. It could be anything. We are asking for a funniest, wittiest, and the most creative answer to this. What is the easiest to pick?
If you're at a fruit stand, I think an apple is the easiest thing to pick.
Okay.
If you're a monkey swinging from the branches of a tree, the banana is the easiest to pick.
If you are a human being and your nose is stuffed, nose is easier to pick.
Yeah. But we don't want to do that unless we're in the shower, right?
Who define etiquette? Well, that's the human instinct.
Yeah.
But now we are in a society where we say, don't do this, don't do that. This is not right etiquette. These are not table manners. Oh my God, we changed ourselves so much. But anyway, there is still something which is easiest to pick. I really want people to respond to it and have 2 awards, $100 gift card and $50 gift card for first and second place orders. We'll declare the
results on 30 September. I haven't seen any interaction so far, but who knows? Someone may be the lucky winner. So anyways, I will again remind before leaving that September 30th is the orange shirt day. I brought mine. Have you brought your orange shirt? Show your solidarity with the indigenous people who suffered a lot at the hands of those who are in power and in influential positions. It's a time for us to show our gratitude and feel sorry for what those people have done to those people. With that, I will take your permission to leave. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow, the 5th day of the week, and good day.